Today, I'm delighted to be joined by some members of the business and professional services here in Hong Kong. And we are covering law, we're covering company secretaries, we're covering accounting. So we really are covering the main part of the business and professional services. I'm delighted to be joined from Singapore on his birthday, I understand, yes. Kevin Fitzgerald, who is the managing, he's the managing director for Asia for Xero. I'm also joined by Eugene Choi, who is the co-founder of LegalX. And finally, by Jeremy Choi, who's a tax partner at PwC. During our session, what I'd like to do is, first of all, I'd like to ask all of our panelists to talk a little bit about their sector, and in particular, where they've seen the trends in this transformation towards from a more traditional consulting kind of business into a much more digital age. Let me throw that open to you, Jeremy. Tell us a little bit about the trends you've seen.
Okay, I used to do traditional professional delivery work. I'm a tax partner. So when I joined the firm 20 years ago, and then basically I do very traditional professional work. But starting from 2 or 3 years ago, then basically I changed a lot. And in the professional service sector, we are transforming ourselves in terms of the service delivery and also how to tap into the new markets. And take a startup for an example. Basically, there's a lot of talented people in the startup business, okay? But they look for high quality professional service. And however, they have limited budgets. So you see a gap immediately there. Our cost base is here and the affordability is here. So then there's a huge gap between how we can serve these potential startups. If we do not change our delivery model, we continue with our traditional way to deliver work, we will not be able to serve the startup. So all these startups have huge potential. It could be in 10 years later, could be a Tencent or Alibaba.
Terrific. I'm going to come back and ask you some more questions on that because that's very, very interesting. Can I go over to you, Eugene?
So I have been practicing as a corporate lawyer for a little bit more than 10 years. So what I observe is that a lot of professional services still rely on some kind of existing technologies. And our company strive to be the gold standard for project and document management, basically applying the latest visualization technologies and coupled with NLP so that people can actually retrieve data and to work and reproduce certain workflows with ease and convenience. And obviously, security is our foremost priority. And I think given that I'm kind of like an insider of multiple law firms or the legal industry in general, I see that there are a lot of value that technologies can actually apply to different teams collaborating and making their life easier.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's what we want in the business sector, isn't it? And typically, particularly in the legal services, you are seen as being very lofty, very almost inaccessible in what you do. So you're seeing that technology makes you more accessible, more price available to your clients. I'll do a follow-up question afterwards because Kevin, over to you. Give us a quick update.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for accommodating me dialing in from Singapore. I've been a qualified accountant for over 20 years now, and 5 years ago I decided to take a different career path and actually join an accounting technology platform called Xero, which services SMEs. So I've been fortunate enough to see both sides of the fence of I guess SMEs digitizing, accounting practices digitizing, but the profession of accounting digitized, and I've seen some really big changes, especially in the last 2 to 3 years, especially in this region. And we predominantly operate in Singapore with offices in Hong Kong also, but massive opportunity for professional services across tax, audit, legal, and accounting to change at the moment, which is actually a really exciting time for all of us.
I'm just going to very briefly introduce what we do, and then I'm going to flip it back to Kevin with a question. So the company that I run, we are in education services. We've been in Hong Kong for a long time. And in a true Hong Kong small business way, we started in one field of education. We saw opportunities and we moved into them. And in a lot of cases, technology has been at the heart of what we've been doing. So we started as a very traditional tutoring business. We quickly moved into online tutoring. As a sideline to that, we started to work with schools. So schools in Hong Kong, schools in China, typically in the Greater Bay Area. And that's for very practical reasons, because of course, working in the Greater Bay Area means that I can hop up by train very, very quickly. So I can go up and down in the space of a couple of hours to visit clients. Well, we could visit clients until a few months ago. So technology has taken on a whole new meaning, because not only is it helping our businesses to run more efficiently, our clients, it's helping us to stay in touch with our businesses. So we've moved within the education sector, and technology really has been at the heart both of delivering a good service, but also staying in contact with our clients. Jeremy, where have you seen the trends? What's changed? Let's say not just the last 6 months, because a lot has changed in the last 6 months. What's changed in the last 5 years, the last 2 years, the last 6 months?
Okay, I mentioned about the gap between how we can serve the startup and the SME by the large accounting firm like us. And so we came back, basically we developed a business, digital business portal. So inside that portal, basically we use the AI technology to serve the clients. So the portal basically contains of 2 parts. The first part is a compliance tool, and the second part is the training part. Okay, the compliance tool basically, if the subscriber log on to the portal, and basically they can select what document they want to prepare. So then the computer will have a list of questions asking the subscriber to fill in the information. Say, for example, the subscriber want to prepare documentation in relation to change of directors particulars. So they have to prepare the form in the old days and also prepare the resolutions. But with that portal, they can just input the answer to the computer and press a button, and everything will just print out for him. So then he just take the documentation to do the filing within a second. So basically, in the old days, they will have to go to the professional accountant and give them the request, and then the accountant prepare the documentation and send it back to the client for approval. And all these things has been eliminated. So basically, they go onto the portal and then can just put in the answer and get it print within a second. So that's basically one of the things that we're going to use the portal to serve the startup company and SME. So that's the one thing. The other thing is the training portal. The training portal is basically, it's like a movie portal. So if you want to attend accounting training, tax, audit related training, so you just got onto the portal and access to the particular video, and anytime, anywhere, you can just attend the training and finish the training. You'll be able to get the completion certificates. You can fulfill your CPD requirement if you're a professional, and if you're a business related person, then basically you can update your business knowledge anytime, anywhere you want.
Okay, so it's a global platform. Does it have the level of compliance that satisfies Hong Kong, mainland China, Southeast Asia, UK, US? What is your jurisdiction? How broad is the platform that you're offering?
Basically, this is a global platform, but initially when we developed this platform, we primarily serve the Hong Kong market, but we have the intention to extend the coverage. Okay, right now, so basically the topics or the training topics and the compliance tool is basically related to Hong Kong. And we have the plan to, first of all, connect with China and later on Southeast Asia. So then the portal will be a global compliance tool going forward.
Eugene, same question. How has technology changed how you serve your clients? I mean, give us a case study. What does it look like now if somebody contacts you looking for legal advice?
So, well, the first thing is I echo with what Jeremy said. The world is actually getting smaller, and we're living at a very special time where connectivity is very important. And Hong Kong as a hub has great commercial activities cross-border. So a lot of our clients have to either in the old ways commute to China or different cities just to perform certain due diligence activities or even attend a meeting. And it is very evident that people are embracing technologies in different manner, be it the rising of Zoom, the rising of computing technologies where people can actually collaborate on the same portal or platform. And I think for us, the case study will be very evident where Hong Kong has a lot of activities that actually are tied to different China cities and even Southeast Asian cities. And teams have to communicate not just based on peripheral kind of ways of communication. For example, there are a lot of complex information that has to be kept real time. And I think our technologies can let them really communicate and visualize those complex data by applying what the AI analysis can help them with going through tons of information that are communicated either across video conferencing or different document management system. And I think this has greatly helped a couple of our clients, which are PRC-based law firms. And during this COVID era, it stands out greatly because they finally realize that a lot of things can be done over the net securely. So that's what we do.
How does, from a practical perspective, and I'll stay with you, Eugene, how does the technology that you provide, the platform you provide, integrate with what we use on a daily basis? I'm just going to take it from a practical perspective. I turn on my computer, I open Outlook, I can open a Microsoft Word document. How does that integrate? Do you have a secure web-based, cloud-based platform? How would a client access you?
That's an excellent question. So that's the key of our philosophy. Basically, it has to be very sticky. It has to be very everyday. Like you think of an application and software, not just when you have to use it because people are going to forget about it. So how do we really encapsulate the gist of applying these technologies, yet making it very simple, intuitive, and easy to use? I'll give you a very quick example by drawing an analogy of, a linear scale of intelligence, say 1 to 10, right? There are a lot of things that are more redundant and repetitive, and you have to go through by hours of manual labor. And while the kind of way people have to input the data has been inconvenient in the past, now we'll make them convenient. For example, a document management system is what is essential to any corporation. And if they have certain incidences where they need to churn through a lot of documents by extracting clauses or certain analytics, we can help them apply just on their data without infringing any privacy or confidentiality. So that's a key. How do you draw the line while earning their confidence in your app? And that's what we do.
Excellent. Thank you. Kevin, a similar question, and I'm going to use my example. I run a company that has an office in the UK. We have staff in New Zealand, and we're based here and in mainland China. So at the moment, this is what my accounting procedure looks like. I have an assistant, and she talks to our accountant who's in New Zealand, who creates something on an Excel spreadsheet, and then he shares it with me. And then once a year, the auditor comes in and looks at the Excel spreadsheet. I'm sounding very like I shouldn't be on a technology-based platform, but tell me how I can see you laughing already. Tell me why I should be using your form of accounting rather than my Excel spreadsheet. What does it look like?
Well, I will say, I think Excel is a popular accounting tool globally, but it was never built for that. So a lot of people are what I would consider maybe using the wrong tools for their business when they rely on Excel, because Excel is a data capture tool for most of us, unless you've got really high level training in Excel to really make the most out of it. So it doesn't really feed you data and insights. And I really liked what the guys said there about collaboration. The Xero platform is a collaboration tool between the accountant, the auditor, the client, and any other professional advisor that you give access to on the platform, which could be your banker or financier. So a great example of what we see, especially cross borders or with multiple entities, is the owner of the business not having to do that administrative piece of work. And I'll explain that in 2 ways. One is we have secure API connections with nearly 250 banks globally. So that would include local banks in Hong Kong like Hang Seng and HSBC. So the information from both of those banks flows into Xero every day. So you have that information automatically in Xero every morning when you wake up. So nobody has to type anything into Excel. And the machine learning in the platform starts to remember the transactions in your business and starts to help with the posting to the general ledger. So essentially, it's taken away a big piece of administrative, I guess, brain power as well, and let you focus on growing the business. The second part of collaboration is the accountant then gets the real-time information and should be in a position to feed you insights from our dashboards. And that could be cash flow, that could be margin analysis, or any general ledger items that you've flagged for review. So then the accountant becomes what I would consider to be an accountant to do from my days in accounting, is an advisor to the owner and the manager or the boss of the business. And the great thing about it is if you have businesses in Hong Kong, Singapore, any other country, you can have that real-time information every day. So you could get a group view every day, which is really what maybe you get once a quarter or once a year. And that's where the collaboration comes into it. So instead of focusing on inputting information into Excel, you're focused on what are the insights that Xero is telling me about my business to help me run a better, more efficient, more profitable business.
Thank you. This is today. So today is a startup festival, and we need to sort of look back, if it's possible, with PwC to when we were all startup businesses. How do you build, and I'll stay with you, please, in Singapore. How do you build, Kevin, trust? You all work in sectors, law and accounting and business advisory services, where there are dominant players. You come in and you come in with a new technology, you come in as an upstart. How do you say to a client, no, put your trust in us. You don't need to go to one of the big four. We can do it for you. And we're not a technology that's going to tip over tomorrow. That must be an issue for you dealing with clients.
It can be. So we don't provide accounting services directly. What we do is we provide a technology to accounting firms. So the change in the profession in the last 5 years has been driven by cloud accounting technology. And what we have observed is the smaller accounting firms being more nimble to adapt to technology. So when we talk about trust, that's really vital, because as an accountant, as somebody who works with accountants every day and accounting firms, security, cloud security, validation of the system, integrity of the data and the system is vital. We are a fully cloud business. We were never desktop, so we never moved from desktop to cloud. And that's taken us a bit of time to build that trust. But I think part of it is making sure that we have all the right regulations in place around ISO sign off, local data regulations, security. So we have a cyber audit every year, which we pass with flying colors. And our business, if we didn't have the best technology and security available, we simply wouldn't be in business. People would lose trust in our platform. So we actually see trust as a critical part of, I guess, the relationship that we have with our customers. It's really key that we have two-factor authentication, geotags and logins, everything that you can think of in terms of the latest and greatest security we have it, and we're hosted on Amazon Web Services, which are known to have the strongest level of security available. So all of those things add up to providing, I guess, the business a checklist of trust. But really, I think people have taken a leap in trust in cloud. And when we really think about all of the things that we do every day, our personal lives are pretty much all in the cloud at the moment. So business is lagging behind a little bit. So we're seeing that catch up really quickly.
That's it. That is very interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Jeremy, where do you see, you have a history of trust in the services that you provide. Where does Hong Kong fit in as far as how your business model works? Do you maintain your servers here in Hong Kong? Are they global? Are they international? How can you tell your clients, don't worry, your information is safe with us?
Oh, okay, before I answer this question, I just want to add a footnote to your previous questions. I think we also use Xero. So long as any technology that can drive efficiency, that can drive the cost down, and is good to use, and no matter it's a big accounting firm or small accounting firm, we all use these technologies. So technology is the key. So basically, all of the professional bodies looking for a solution to improve the efficiency. That's one thing. So that is one of the key driver to go for technologies. So to your question, basically, we are a traditional accounting firm. 20 years ago, when you ask for a meeting, I will be dressing up like a gentleman with ties and suits coming up. But right now, I will be coming here without tie and trainers and very casual, because it is a startup. The economy has changed. So what happened is basically, I think we are transforming ourselves. So you see maybe product on sale in the internet for almost 10 or 20 years ago. And you see the online banking coming into our life on a daily basis. So now basically it's the time for professional service to change. And if we don't change it, I mentioned before, we will not be able to pick up the opportunities like the startup opportunities there. So one of the things that we drive to change to capture the market opportunities is to use the technologies to serve these potential clients. That's one thing very important. And also with the traditional way of large accounting firm, we have a lot of procedures, things that we need to follow and keep things confidential. And to your question, basically, we still leverage the technology to keep things, documents on a confidential basis, and to serve our client in a better way.
Well, I like the idea that you've come more casually dressed today, you know. I can't say the same for Eugene. You won't be able to see this, everyone, but he is wearing his trainers. So, and no tie. So I like to pull it back to Hong Kong, because the people that are joining us today are interested to hear about how Hong Kong helps our business and why here. Eugene, it strikes me that your business could be almost anywhere. Now, it might be business reasons, it might be family reasons, it might be a number of reasons, but how does Hong Kong help your business to succeed?
Right. So partially it's because I'm from here, so I started a business here. But just generally objective speaking, like Hong Kong is in a very great position to offer technology, partly because it has a very good legal system that safeguards a lot of rights. And a lot of our clients, while you asked how do we build the trust with what they work on the platform, is that, you know, one thing we can assure them is that their confidentiality and data privacy rights have been protected and safeguarded here. And the database and the server can also be situated in Hong Kong. And I think, well, the good thing of being in Hong Kong is that there are still, we are regarded as a world-class standard in terms of professional services. And the thing that we can offer like technological enhancement and augmentation to these professional services, it will be a very attractive idea, because first is that they can trust the people of the company. Secondly, they know we have a deep understanding of the industry practices. And thirdly, they know that if there's anything that might go wrong, they still have a very strong and intact legal system to safeguard those things and to ask for remedies. And so these things will help us position in a very unique way where they use us with great trust and confidence.
Yes, I think we all recognize that one of the key things that helps companies to make investment decisions is certainty, a level of certainty. Now, Kevin, we're not holding it against you that you're down in Singapore at the moment, because we know travel is not easy, but I know that you're a frequent visitor to Hong Kong. Why? You say you have your your company in Singapore, but Hong Kong is a big part of your business. What does Hong Kong bring to your team?
Yeah, great question. And prior to the travel lockdown, I normally traveled to Hong Kong between 12 and 16 times a year. So I know the city really well, and I'm missing it at the moment. It's a really good question around why, like, is there the physical presence needed? And it comes down to opportunity, but also in our early years of building trust with clients, we really felt that people want a more personal experience, especially from an overseas business that's doing and building cloud accounting platforms. So if you put yourself in the shoes of an SME, they're making a big decision with their information and to move their systems. We felt that for the first year that we were in Asia, servicing Hong Kong from Singapore just wasn't cutting it. What you see after year 2 or 3 is an inflection point where the early adopters jump on board. Some of the people that were maybe a bit concerned about who are you, why should I trust your platform, that starts to dissolve as usage and popularity becomes more important, and the level of trust starts to change. And we wanted to be on ground to build the technical connections with the banks that I mentioned, Hang Seng and HSBC, and have a relationship with them to not only build a connection, but to understand customers in the region. And I think that's where we've been really methodical as a technology business, not to make sure it's all about scale, because you miss that great opportunity to learn more and more about your customers along the way. And that was a big part of us actually setting up in Hong Kong.
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing you back here very soon, I hope. Now, we're going to have to wrap up reasonably soon. We're coming into our last 10 minutes. So again, I'd like to come back to this practical perspective, Jeremy. We have people tuning in today, that's not a very high-tech word, joining us today from around the world. Jeremy, there's an SME, they're looking here at Hong Kong. How do they contact you? What are the first 3 questions you're going to ask them? They're going to help them to make a decision about setting up here.
Setting up business in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. A lot of common question for overseas company coming to Hong Kong, and basically they will ask, so what is the cost of setting up a company, whether they should set up a company or set up a branch of a foreign company, and what will be the legal requirements, do they need to be audited, and what is the tax filing, all these questions. And I can tell you this question is because Hong Kong is very simple, it's very business friendly. So then they just come here, and basically the costs for setting up companies and maintaining a company is very minimal cost. It's not expensive, but with the technology we built so far, it's even easier, so that they can just come onto the portal and get all these compliance template, and they can also get training out of the portal. And if they don't know how, they can just attend the training, and basically the portal will teach them how to do it. So it's very easy.
And Eugene, same question, and I'm going to get free advice from a lawyer right now, which never happens. So I'm going to take advantage of the moment. So Eugene, we have a client that's looking to set up schools here in Hong Kong. They have never done business in Hong Kong. So this is their first step into the market, and they are looking for legal advice. They're looking for legal advice on sales and purchase agreements. They're looking for legal support to ensure that their move into Hong Kong is a safe move. How would you help my client?
Well, first of all, very quick disclaimer, like what I'm going to say does not constitute legal opinion, but very generally speaking, I think apart from the cost concern, which is a great thing to set up an entity here, if they want to get licensed for an education institution, we have a very kind of solid process to get approvals from the right government institutions. And I think there are a couple of exemptions and grants in terms of taxation that if you want to set up an entity for an education institution, the government will offer a lot of support in terms of whether it can be an NGO, like a non-profit kind of institution, or legally, I think there are a lot of safeguards in terms of what you can kind of set up as a school or some sort for different types of audience. So there's great flexibility to that sort.
Tell me a little bit before we wrap up. We're here talking today with Invest Hong Kong. How has Invest Hong Kong helped you? We'll sort of use this question to wrap up. So if you're a company watching us today, let us give you our examples of how Invest Hong Kong has supported our business. Eugene.
Well, that's definitely a great push for us. While I'm sitting here and being able to promote the use of technologies and to express some kind of sharing in terms of how technologies can help with the professional services, that's one. And I think secondly, it takes a community to push forward something. And with the post-COVID era, I think it's a very good timing where everybody is more aware and in a way educated about like the importance of adopting technologies where physical commute and traveling are restricted. So with all the collective efforts with different public and also private bodies, I think InvestHK stands in a very good position to put us together. So I think we're very happy to be here today.
Kevin, tell us a little bit about your experience with Invest Hong Kong and how they've supported you.
It's been brilliant and really helpful, because I think for anybody that has read or tuned into sessions like this to learn about a different city, especially Hong Kong, when we visited Hong Kong and met with the team, they were incredibly welcoming. We learned a lot in those sessions. They helped us navigate the initial parts of setting up in the market, which was really helpful. And I think actually now is a really great time to think about structure in Hong Kong and setting up. And the government have rolled out a digital technology program called DBiz. And that is basically a grant for SMEs in Hong Kong to go digital. And I believe it's up to a value of 100,000 Hong Kong dollars at the moment to adopt Xero and other technology. So it's actually a really good time to link in with the Invest Hong Kong team and understand that a bit better. And they've been great to us and good people on the ground to help.
Thank you. Thank you. Jeremy, just to you for a last comment.
Oh, okay. Basically, it's a promotion like this. And also, there's a lot of opportunities for us to work together, because I know Invest Hong Kong has a lot of different offices overseas, and they are the first point of contact from the overseas clients' perspective. So then there's a lot of opportunities for us to, maybe we can do some roadshow and to work together to promote Hong Kong together. And I know not just me from my firm, a lot of my partners are working with your colleagues too. So that is great opportunities for us to work together to promote Hong Kong together.
Now, I think I've got about 30 seconds. So from my perspective, on the education business side, what Hong Kong offers me and what Invest Hong Kong offers me is as you said, good people in the office, people that know their sector. They bring you together, they give you good advice, they can point you in the direction of government subsidies that help or government grants. Like Hong Kong, always super responsive and quick with their answers. So thank you all very much for hosting us today. Thank you, Kevin, over there in Singapore. Lovely. And also Eugene and Jeremy. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.